All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for y'all patience. Thank y'all so much for being here. In this video, we are going to do what a lot of you have been requesting for months now. We are going to do a mortgage update, a mortgage payoff update. For those of you who don't know, we and a lot of y'all are on a journey to pay off our mortgage sooner than later. I have been told that a lot of you look to these videos for inspiration, and I don't make them often enough. So I want to ask a question. How often do you think I should make these videos? Because see, in my mind, I feel like when we wait a little while and then I come back with a video, we have a more dramatic payoff, update, a more dramatic update. But maybe you're not looking for the drama. Maybe you're just looking for somebody who's walking this journey with you and who can consistently come in and tell you about the movement, no matter how small, and that's enough. So please drop down in the comments and tell me, what are you looking for with these videos? What do you want to see? What would you like to see? What helps you? Okay? Because obviously in my mind, I feel like we ain't gonna make them that often, so I don't. But then I start getting a bunch of comments like, can we get an update? Can we get an update? So this is that update. And if you haven't checked out my net worth video, that is out there now. So check out my latest net worth update. But in this video, we're going to talk about this. Now, I had purchased my home in 2009 for the tune of, I think I financed like about $530,000, something like that, 530, 560. I cannot remember because I wasn't on any kind of financial journey at that point in time. But the house was like about 600,000. But I did put down some money and then I got some credits taken off, things like that. Okay, so what I got from the bank was about that. At that point, I can't remember these things, but I think my interest rate was in the 5. Today, my interest rate is 2.25%, and that was from refinancing, and that was from strategically paying down the principal of what I owed. So that way, by the time I went in to refinance, I did not need to take out as much of a loan as I had before, and I never refinance for 30 years. I never go back into a 30-year term. I always refinance for where I am currently in that mortgage or less, the years or less. Okay. So for me, I never refinance. I never gave them the story that I'm looking for a lower mortgage payment, because they will give you a lower mortgage payment. All right. They'll usually do that by re-entering you into another 30-year contract. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay. Ain't nobody got time for that. And we always refinance for a lower interest rate. Make sure it's worth it, because a lot of times you're going to have to pay for the service of getting into a new loan. So do the numbers, see what you can negotiate. And that's what I always did. Okay. So this is where we stand right now. The last time we did this video was in October of 2023. That was our last update. And at that point, we owed $158,700 on our home. Now, a lot of people feel that it is wiser to invest the money in the market versus putting the extra money on a home, especially when you have a 2.25% interest rate. Now, obviously, I believe that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You don't have to do one thing or the other. You can do both, or you can pick and choose which one you want to do. When you're doing this, it's not only important to say what makes the best financial sense, but you also have to go with what also makes the best emotional sense for you. What is important for you in your future? For me, having a paid off home is a part of my retirement. It is. And because I am closer to 50 than I am 30, I'm looking at retirement. Retirement is knocking on my door, right? So we have to make some moves to get ready for that, because I always say that this right now, while we're working, this is the most money we're going to make, most of us, right? in our working years. This is the money that we are making, and this is the time where we actually have that bit of extra to do something extra with. When we retire, that means that we're not going to have the income we're bringing in now anymore. So why would I want to be in my retirement years trying to pay a big mortgage? Because usually the mortgage is our biggest expense for most people. Mortgage and rent is usually our biggest monthly expense. I don't want to go into my retirement years with my biggest monthly expense still being a thing. Now, I say, when I pay off my home, there's two things I can do with that money when I retire. Two things I can do. I can either keep the home, and because I have many bedrooms, I can rent rooms out and supplement income that way. But I will not have like a big payment for the roof over my head. Yes, I will still have to pay taxes. Yes, I will still have to pay insurance on that home. But like I say, there are ways to offset that, and it's going to be less than what I'm paying now, right? As far as me paying those things plus a mortgage. Or I can sell off the property, use the money that I made from selling off the property to buy something smaller, or use the money that I paid for selling off the property to pay for rent somewhere in an area, in a neighborhood, in a city, in a country, in a state that's less expensive than where I live now. I'm in the DC metropolitan area. So those are my reasons for wanting to pay off my home sooner than later. Now we're going to talk about where we are, right? Whenever we make an extra payment to our mortgage, we do principal only. All the extras goes to principal only, because the key is paying down that principal. The principal is what the interest is based off of. When I'm paying 2.25% in interest, is off of the principal of what I still owe on that loan. Okay. So in November, I made my normal mortgage payment of $1,536. We're just going to round the numbers up or down accordingly, okay? So of that payment, $1,238 went to the principal. $297 went to interest. I then made an extra principal only payment of $561.65. And the reason for the change here is because I am playing the game of keeping my numbers round. I like for my mortgage balance to end in zero, so I just add whatever's needed to make it a zero. It's a little game that I'm playing, okay? And then in December, I made my normal payment of $1,536. Of that, $1,242 went to the principal, and $294 went to the interest. I did make an additional principal only payment of $558.28. In January, I made my normal payment of $1,536. Of that, $1,245 went to the principal, and $291 went to interest. I then made a principal only payment of $555 or $554.90. And then in February, this good month that we're living in, I made my normal payment of $1,536. Of that, $248 went to the principal, and $287 went to interest. And so we see that between November in February, we got that interest down by $10, okay, by making extra payments. And so I also then made an extra principal only payment of $551.53. Okay, and so when we look at all of those, we see that we brought our current loan down to $151,500. Okay, now you guys know, a lot of you who watch me know that I'm also doing a little different, something a little different, because normally in the past I had made bigger principal only payments. But lately what I've been doing is I opened up a high yield savings account with Goldman Sachs Marcus, their Marcus account. And I've been making 5.5% interest on that account. And so instead of sending that extra money to my mortgage straight away, I've been sending it to this high yield savings account. Okay. And then let's take a pause. Right now, the Marcus savings account is 4.5% interest. That's what they're paying. However, if you have a referral code, they give you an extra percent. So that's why I'm at 5.5%. If any of you think that you're interested in this, shoot me an email. My email address is in the description below. Shoot me an email and I can get a referral code over to you. It's not my referral code because mine is maxed out, but it's one of the family members. One of you guys who had opened up a Marcus account and you sent me your referral code. I am sharing those referral codes with you all who may want one as well, because this is all about, we're all doing better as a community, okay? As a fun and budget family, we're all doing better. So whatever I know, whatever I can share, whatever I can help you with, that's what we're doing here, okay? So I've been sending the money over there. So last time we did this, I had $16,473.71 in my Marcus account for the mortgage, for this mortgage payoff thing, okay? This money that I put in this account is for nothing else but the mortgage. I don't loan this money out. I don't borrow from this money. I don't do other things with this money. This money sits there because Goldman Sachs Marcus does let you create multiple accounts under there so you can divvy up in multiple buckets. So this is the bucket earmarked for my mortgage, okay? So the last time we did this, after we subtract this money because it will go to the mortgage eventually, we was at $142,226.29. This is what I would have owed had I put that money on the mortgage, more or less, because it doesn't take away from interest. I would have been paying less interest as well. So more or less, that's what I would have owed. So now this is where we stand in that account. I call it my Mortgage Freedom Fund. And my Mortgage Freedom Fund, I now have $25,740.97. So this is an increase in that account of $9,267.26. So if I take that money and subtract it from what I owe on my house, that will then bring what I owe on the house down to $125,759.03. Now, people have said, see, look at the interest that you're gaining. You're gaining 5.5% interest on that account, and you're only paying 2.25 interest on your loan. Why not just put all of your money in that account and let it grow instead of paying down your mortgage because your interest is lower? But in my mind, I feel like even though the interest is lower, it's lower on a bigger balance. It's lower on a bigger amount of debt. And even though my Marcus account is making 5.5%, it's making 5.5% on a lower amount that's in that account, right? We're not looking at, I owe $150,000 and I'm making $150,000. I'm making 5.5% on $150,000. No, I'm paying 2.25% on $150,000. This is what that looks like. If I look at the interest that I paid on this mortgage in the past 4 months since we did this in October. So the past 4 months, I paid $1,170 in interest, right? I paid that in interest. Now, one of the benefits of paying this in interest is it is tax deductible. I will get a break on my taxes because that's what I paid in interest. Now, let's look at what I earned in interest since opening this account. Since opening the account, meaning more than 4 months ago. What I earned in interest, 5.5% interest on the money that I had in this particular account, is $396.97. They're not apples and apples. They don't equal each other. I earned $396.97, of which I'm going to have to pay taxes on, because it's a gain, so I have to pay taxes on that. Yet I paid $1,170, which I get a tax break on. It doesn't equal the same. So in my mind, I understand that you're saying, oh, but Tanisha, The money, the $25,000 that's in the account now, it's going to get compound interest. And I didn't even take a screenshot of this. You're going to get compound interest. Well, guess what? I make about $78 a month right now. $78 a month. Even when we add that $78 to the $25,000 a month, then now we're going to make 5.5% on $25,000 is $78. Then the next month we're going to make compound interest on what? $25,156, something like that. I'm doing the math roughly. How long is it going to take in compound interest for at $396 in about 8 months of interest to equal the amount that I'm paying in interest? How long will that take? Do you get what I'm saying? Oh, I know. Simply, if I'm making $78 a month in interest on an account, but yeah, I'm paying $287 a month in interest on a debt, how many years will it take for that $78 to compound and outperform the interest that I'm paying in debt?
With the help of a compound interest calculator, I kind of figured it out for us. Okay, so what I did is I took my investment of $25,000 and then I did it we came up with 30 years at 5.5% interest. And we got that I would have $124,598. But I had to subtract that initial $25,000 from that to see how much I earned in interest, right? And so when I did that, I took that number and divided it by 360 months, because that's what 30 years equals. And what that gave me was $276 a month I would be earning in interest. So that still doesn't equal what I am paying in interest on the home. Okay, so that tells you it would take over 30 years for that $25,000 to compound to equal what I'm paying in interest on this loan by keeping the loan around. And that's roughly, because of course this doesn't factor in how much it will compound if I add to it every month. But we're just going with an initial investment because I can be doing other things with the money. Okay,
I'm always going to be losing money. I'm going to be losing money because the amount that I owe in the debt on the house is way bigger than the amount that I have in the savings account. So even if you pay me 5.5% from my savings account, it's not going to outperform what I'm paying in debt. And the way the government is structured, I have to pay interest on all this money that I'm making. The $397, I have to pay interest. The $78 a month, I have to pay interest. But yet the government, because they do want to keep us in debt, so they're going to give us a little bit of a bone. And that little bit of bone is, oh, even though you paid $1,170, we're going to let you write off a portion of that. Not the whole thing. Not the whole thing. You don't get a break. You don't get that whole thing back. You get a portion. You get a percentage of that back. So this is why I say, for me, I am team debt free. Unless we're talking apples and apples. And apples and apples means if I had $150,000 in my savings account and compared it to $150,000 that I have in debt, then we can talk the numbers. We can compare. Because then that 5.5% on $150,000 is going to outperform 2.25% that I'm paying in debt. That's what I feel. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. But like I said, I am doing both. I'm saving money because I save more money than what's in this account, right? So I'm saving money and I'm paying down debt, because the key is to eventually be mortgage debt free. And the key is that hopefully with what I have on my house, what I earn from my house through the house going up in value over the years, that money can take care of my living expenses, my house living expenses, the roof over my head, whichever way it comes, whether it comes from renting, whether it comes from owning, whether it comes from living in somebody's bedroom, living in a compound, you know how we do. So the key is that the money that I'm able to make from that asset will forever take care of the asset of a roof being over my head. That is the game plan. That is the key. That forever more it will be able to take care of me in my retirement years. Okay? All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. Don't forget to thumbs up. Talk to me in the comments below about your journey, your philosophy, your progress, what you think about what I said. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I what am I? And I'm going to see y'all in the next video. Okay. Subscribe. We're going to have way more conversations like this. Subscribe. And then tell me again what you're looking for from these mortgage updates. I do have charts. Clearly, I'm in my car. If I ain't even had time to sit down at a desk in my good home to show you the charts for my mortgage payoff journey and to show you my, I have the I can never say the word, amortization charts. I have all of that. I just ain't had time to sit down and put the camera over it and talk y'all through it. Okay. So one day that would be nice to do. But I just haven't had time to do it yet. So until next time, y'all, thank y'all again. Peace.